Hello and welcome to the Course Wizards podcast. I'm Chris and I'm here with my co-host Amit Aurora. How you doing today, Amit?
What's up, Chris? We are back together to record another fun
We
episode.
we got our headphones on, we got our hats on, you got your cool shirt on, you got your lights on. We're all ready to go today.
We're ready to rock and roll.
All right, well today we are talking about tips for recording and editing professional quality video lessons. A lot of times when you're sitting down to record your first course, one of the things that you can get really hung up on is this idea of, is my video going to be good enough? And you tend to think of it both technologically as well as just, is the content good enough? Is what I'm putting together good enough? Am I coming across natural? And so we just want to talk a little bit about that today. What are some tips that we have from our what combined almost a decade of creating online courses? What are some tips that we might suggest for editing and recording? And so
Fun fact,
yeah,
Chris, I texted you that we've been doing this for 3 years now. Is that crazy?
3 years we've been doing the Course Wizards podcast every single week because we want to bring you guys the best quality material possible so that you can teach online too. We love this, don't we? I mean, we get
We're the
together.
only name in town for online courses.
That's true. We really we'll get together and I will start talking about recording courses online and everything that's connected to that with technology and just the presentation and all that, and it just charges us up every time. Sometimes we record these late at night and we keep ourselves wide awake just because we get so jazzed talking about this stuff. So we hope you guys enjoy listening and learning
Yes.
from this too.
Yeah, I hope so, man. All right. So, tips. Our first step here is be yourself.
Be
Just like
yourself.
bring yourself to the camera. And I know that's hard to do when you're first starting out. You're like, oh my God. So if obviously this episode was more geared towards people who are just starting in the online course creation
Hmm.
space, but those who have been in it for a while, we have some tips towards the end on how to remove your background. That's a
Yeah.
cool one using AI. But yeah, first step, just be yourself.
Just be yourself because remember, it's better to just be yourself and let your personality come across than try to make everything perfect. You can skip over your words and have a little bit of trouble. I've seen people who have courses that they leave in all the mistakes they do and they just leave it in there. And you know what? It comes across very authentic. And so don't worry about being yourself. Just go ahead and record. And the next thing you want to do is you do want to invest in some good quality sound equipment, right? You don't want to make it so that people can't hear what you're having to say. Because even though you can stumble over your words, if they can't hear the words you're stumbling over, you've got a real problem because this is a highly auditory medium. And so you want to make sure that people can hear you. And so what equipment do you recommend, Amit?
Yeah, I think
Baseline.
we have, we can obviously link to some of the show notes, right, of
Yeah.
previous episodes. You can start with the Blue Yeti. That's like baseline
A
microphone,
lot of people love the
just
Blue Yeti.
USB. Yeah,
Hmm.
no technological experience needed, right? You just
Yeah.
plug and play. It automatically installs a driver on your computer, and whatever recording software you're using, you just fire it up, detect it as a input source, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, absolutely. Blue Yeti is what I would recommend for anyone starting off, and I have recommended it a lot and actually sold quite a few through my Amazon affiliate link.
Oh,
Probably
did
made
you?
a
Nice.
probably made $1.24 a piece. What's
We
next,
should
Summit?
actually we should actually record an episode on how to correctly use Amazon Associates and like just the whole Amazon affiliate program as a supplement to your supplement, of course,
We'll
income.
do that. I'll make a note of that now, and that'll be an upcoming episode. All right,
Yeah,
take
I
us
think
on to
that's
the
going to
next
be a
one.
good one. The next one, with your sound comes camera, right? And on this, I don't want anyone to get too hung up on what kind of camera to use. Like, I still use the Logitech webcam for most of my YouTube videos, almost all of them. I will use my iPhone 13 or iPhone 12, sorry, for my intro outro videos. But sometimes even for that, I'm like too lazy. I'm like just going to use my Logitech. People are there to learn, right? They're not going to judge you. Obviously, you don't want like a grainy 1980s video, but
Mhm.
even these webcams, as you can see from this video, if you're watching it on YouTube and while you're watching subscribe, it's I'm using Logitech webcam and it's pretty clear. Chris, what
Yeah.
camera are you using?
This is the Logitech C922 right here. It's the exact same camera. I do have a ring light right above me here, which is what's making my face light up, and you can see on my hand how it's lighting up there with the light. But yeah, the Logitech C920, 922, any one of those, they are very good cameras. I actually get compliments quite a bit on the clarity of my video in Zoom sessions, on online courses, all sorts of things. People really like this
Oh, interesting.
camera. And it's only about $65 or so on Amazon right now, so definitely worth getting the Logitech C922.
Yeah. I think during the height of the pandemic, they were what, like $200-300 a
Yeah,
piece?
they sure were. But yeah, it's not expensive, so if you were to get the Logitech C922, get yourself a Blue Yeti for about $150, you can have almost everything you need to, have a
Or even
good
the Blue
quality setup.
Snowball, right? The
Even
Blue
the
Snowball is
Snowball's
like
even
50
less,
bucks.
it's like half of that, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So with that, I think our next one is, and I only speak about this because of my personal experience. When my wife and I, we started our first online course, right? This was right after we had our first baby in 2015. She was home from work and we're like, okay, let's record. But our home was not conducive to recording because newborns are always crying. You don't know when they're going to start crying. So we had gone, and our local library had a kind of like a meeting room you could use, which she did. But what I realized is it throws a lot of echo because
Yes.
the meeting room is just walls. So if you're in a situation where it's just like a blank room, I would say the cheapest way to get soundproofing is just hang clothes or sheets on your wall, right? That's going to absorb some of that bounce, the echo from the walls. So that's my first tip. Chris, do you have any tips on soundproofing?
Yeah, you can also get wall tiles, you can get ceiling tiles, and you can also put a rug down on the floor. Anything that has that kind of padding will absorb the sound quite a bit. And so, yeah, I definitely recommend that. Although all of that said, nothing has helped me more with my sound than not only having a good microphone, but using some good software for taking the sound out and helping get rid of that echo. And we'll talk about that a bit at the end.
Yep. All right. So that's for sound. We talked about hanging clothes, right? That's like the
Yeah, hanging
cheapest way.
clothes.
I think renting a professional studio, if there's one near you, that's another way to do it. Obviously, that's spending money, but sometimes it gives you the right effect, right? You just go walk in, you start recording, and you walk out.
There are some local junior colleges that will have rooms that are prepped for audio recording, and they'll allow you to use them. Some of them might charge you a monthly fee or even a per session fee. Some of them don't charge you anything though. So there are definitely places you can go. And these pieces of equipment we've talked about, they are all portable. You could just you could toss your camera, your microphone, a laptop, ring light in a bag, and you've got everything you need if you want to record video. If you just want to record audio, all you need is a
Yep.
microphone.
Yep. Chris, you have here use good apps. Do you want to elaborate on that one next? So we talked
Yeah.
about like
S
you have your
so
setup. Now it comes part to record, and I'm guessing that's where you're headed with.
when you're recording, it really helps that you're using a app that records your video well. And again, this doesn't have to be expensive. If you're doing audio, for instance, on a Mac, you can use GarageBand, which is free. You can use, is it Audacity? I think is free on a Windows. There are definitely free options for audio. There are also free options for video. If you're willing to spend a little bit, like on ScreenFlow for Mac or Camtasia for PC, they're very good apps that'll help you record and get that one take recording so you don't have to do a bunch of editing. But even if you do want to do editing, we both love Descript a lot, and Descript has that audio feature I was telling you about. When I finish recording a course, I'll put it into Script and tell it to add studio sound, and it uses
Amazing.
the AI to change the sound to just sound crystal clear. And it doesn't matter if I audio hitting around in the background, it just goes away and it sounds
Yeah.
so good. So I really using a good app goes a long way.
Yep. And for Windows, the cheapest one I have found is like Screencast-O-Matic. It's like $4 a
Yes.
month or something.
Yeah, it's cheap,
It's
but
dirt cheap.
yeah, definitely check out Screencast-O-Matic if you're looking to do it on a budget. What other editing tools have you found? I know you like the AI, right? So what have you
Yes.
found that works with that?
So what I've been trying to use, you mentioned Descript and Descript, however you want to call it. They also have, because a lot of people get hung up on the background. I think you and I are past that point where we don't really care about our background because we are providing value.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
what people see behind me, I don't really care, right? But some people do, and I used to when I first started, and I used to set up this whole green screen. It was a whole process, Chris.
Mm.
I had bought like a one of those projector screens
Yes.
that
I
weighs
had
like
one too.
50 pounds, and it's on this heavy duty tripod. You open it, I spray painted that whole thing green, and I was using that. And but now technology has come so far that I have Descript. There's another one called Runway ML, and then
Mhm.
a third one called Veed, VEED.io. And they all
Video.
have,
I
yeah,
get it.
video. Yeah, right. I just got it too. And they all have AI background removal. So
Mhm.
it detects your body and then everything around it, it'll just remove it. So you don't even have to worry about hiding things in your background. You just record the way you would. Use one of these editing softwares and you can just remove your background. And now you just have the transparent background. So it looks like you're floating on top of your computer screen.
Yeah, and you can also blur the background like you've probably seen people do in Zoom meetings. You can blur your background if you just want to do something real simple. But I do like the cutting yourself out of the background. Didn't you do that on your recent Chat GPT course? Didn't you have yourself cut out of the background? Is that right?
Yep. So I use Descript for that.
Yeah. It looked oh, that was into script. So that was that was and it looked top quality. It looked great. So
And one
absolutely.
of the free tools to use, I think, is CapCut. I will have to check if their desktop version does this, but on their cell phone version, because I created a video ad to promote my Chat GPT course, it is so fast, Chris. Like all these softwares, when you click the button to remove your background, it takes processing power and and V.io is cloud based, so it's all in the browser, but it still takes time. CapCut on my phone is instant. I don't know what technology they're using. It doesn't even take a second. You click it and it removes the background.
It's amazing. It's amazing. All these things are coming they've come a long way. And as we've all been noting lately with ChatGPT and the other AI tools out there, this artificial intelligence is just really coming into its own. And I can't imagine what we'll be talking about in 6 months when it comes to course creation with AI. It'll certainly
Right.
be interesting. So, Amit, will you take us through just a brief recap of everything we talked about here, and then we'll close on out?
Yep. So be yourself, invest in good quality sound equipment, camera. You don't have to go crazy. Start with a simple webcam. Even for the good quality sound, you can start off with a Blue Yeti or a Blue Snowball, which is much cheaper, like $50 or something. Even cheaper on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. Soundproof your room by using clothes to hang if you want, or buy these foam wall tiles on Amazon. Put a rug down. Anything you can do to help the bounce of the sound. So all these things will kind of absorb that extra bounce. You can use recording apps, or you mentioned Screencast-O-Matic, ScreenFlow. ScreenFlow is for Mac. I have mentioned Screencast-O-Matic. We have Descript, which is our favorite one we use. I also use Filmora. There's CapCut for desktop, which is free. You don't even have to create an account. You just start editing in browser. And then one thing I forgot to mention, Chris, is using a video script to kind of help with the narrative. That goes a long way too. So even though
Mhm.
you want to be yourself, it always helps if you have a good video script ready. And you can use AI tools like ChatGPT to say, hey, give me a video script for this specific video that I'm recording.
Yes.
And then AI editing tools, I have mentioned Descript, Runway, ML, and Bead.io.
Video. I know that's what they meant. That's great. Well, we hope you've
Yes.
enjoyed these tips for recording and editing your video lessons. If you've got a tip we haven't thought about that you think is important, feel free to go ahead and share it in the reviews or online on Facebook website. We've got Amit's Facebook group is in the comments. We'd love to see you there. We go in there and chat a bit. And until next time, please rate, review, subscribe, and share. And do what, Amit?
Hashtag keep creating.
See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.